the evangelical side of you, that also developed during COVID, or was it there before?
I was raised Lutheran and Catholic. My parents were from opposite sides of town. So I was always raised with faith, strong faith, and we went to Sunday school every week. But during COVID, when I really felt a need to get back in church, all the churches were shut down for some time. And my church was shut down by appointment only. And I said, we really need to get back in church. I'm just really feeling a drop. That's when we discovered an amazing evangelical church, and it changed our lives. It changed our families' lives.
So Kari Lake pretending like she's down with the evangelicals for any reason other than that's where the Republican voting base is, specifically aligned with Trump. You know, she's absolutely full of it, because it's hilarious to watch her say, you know, I come from a household where, you know, one parent was Catholic and the other was Lutheran.
When my mom and dad got married, my mother's father disowned her for several years because she married a Lutheran outside of the Catholic Church. Obviously, she was Catholic. We have 9 kids.
I went to Lutheran schools when I was very young, and I'm pretty familiar with Catholicism as well, and they're incredibly similar. Like, they're so similar, they might as well be the exact same, except Lutherans just adhere a little bit more to Scripture. They pay a little bit more attention to the New Testament, to the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John than Catholicism does. But they still be up in church, following tradition, singing, you know, like quotes like their songs. It'd be like, and then John came down from the mountain and saw his wife and gave her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm familiar with all of that. They're so similar. But to go from that to evangelicals, no, you're just doing it because that's where Trump's base is. But unfortunately, Kari Lake, you lost the gubernatorial race for Arizona. And so now you have absolutely no chance of being Donald Trump's vice president, on top of the fact that he ain't going to win in 2024 anyway.
And here's one. They actually went after one of my favorite people, Congressman Paul Gosar, one of the greatest congressmen to walk the halls of Congress in our great country. Paul Gosar to share stage with members of party founded by Nazis. This is insane stuff. I'll get to the last one here. They called us ultra-conservative. You know what? I've been called worse. Here's one, and this one hits us. Kari Lake and Paul Gosar to appear with far-right politicians. You know what? I'll take that. So far, we have been right about everything.
The biggest cardinal sin that you can commit against Donald Trump, other than being, you know, quote unquote, disloyal to him, even though he's not loyal to anybody, is losing something major. If you lose anything in the public eye, Donald Trump is not going to want to be on your side. In fact, Kari Lake, as we just pointed out, she's still campaigning. She's still doing her best to be Donald Trump's vice. But like I said, you lost the race and you're a woman, so they probably would have barred you from being next to Trump anyway. But you lost. And she's all over TV talking about how, you know, Ron DeSantis, I think Ron DeSantis should wait it out. I think he should get behind Donald Trump.
The people of Florida just reelected him. I'm assuming when they reelected him, they were hoping he'd stay around for a while. So, I mean, I guess he's in his 40s. He's about 10 years younger than me. He's got a long political future ahead of him. And I think he should respect that the people just voted him in as governor and serve out that term for the people of Florida. And then he could obviously run for president. But this is President Trump's turn.
But again, the only reason that Kari Lake is doing any of this is because she's still trying to be next to Donald Trump, even though she was doing just fine before she decided to enter the race for governor of Arizona.
Let me on that point.
My thought.
Okay.
I am a much better mother that I have firearms and can protect my family. And I will protect my family. You call 911 right now, you can't get someone to show up at your house, Pierce. And there's crime and violence happening on our streets, and we need to protect our own family.
Listen, the only person who can successfully be Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Anybody else who tries to act like him, behave like him, use his rhetoric in exactly the same way that he does, typically doesn't do very well because they're not being authentic. They're trying to be like somebody else. Look, Kari Lake, she had a very successful career in TV and news before she decided to enter politics. And honestly, that's where she should have stayed because she wasn't hurting for money. She wasn't hurting for exposure. She could have gotten involved in politics many another way. But she chose to attach herself to Donald Trump's hip. I mean, even if she would have done something differently, she could have entered the race with a completely different campaign style, with a completely different message. But it's pretty clear that Kari Lake is out of her damn mind.